All right. Welcome, welcome. So nice to see so many new faces today. So for those who haven't joined us before, this is a carb session. We give every second week, we have a small talk by someone we've asked to share something profound, something deep, something maybe inspiring. So we hope that tonight you too can be inspired. But before we start by being inspired, we would like to warm up a little bit, get some icebreakers going. So the icebreakers are polls. So please, you will find that you can answer the question here. So how are you today? You can choose I am great, super happy, kind of okay, or excited to be here. Good. No one's super happy. Yeah, there we go. One person is super happy, and it isn't me. So that's great. So, all right. A lot of people are great. A lot of people are excited to be here. Few people are kind of okay. That is fine. You are allowed to be kind of okay. All right, and I think on first place we have 10 people said they are great. I'm happy you are great. To me, you are also very great. So, the next question. What did you eat today? Food, bread, water, or candy? All right. No one ate bread. We don't have so many Germans here, maybe. No, one person. Two Germans. Great. Great. They have had their Abendbrot, I'm sure. Very good. A lot of people had food. Very unexpected, indeed. All right, so most people had food today. Great. Beautiful indeed. All right. The third question is, where would you rather live? A world of peace, the Pokemon world, Harry Potter world, or Germany? What is your ideal place to live? Isn't a world of peace really Germany? It's definitely not Harry Potter world. They're very, yeah. No, I'm half German. I love Germany. If you don't pick Germany, then I don't know. That is peace on earth, isn't it? All right. So most people have answered a world of peace. That gives me a lot of hope. Although the Pokemon world would be pretty cool. All right. So speaking of Pokemon world, which Pokemon? Let's see here the next question. What is your favorite Pokemon? Charmeleon, Pikachu, dogs, and Jigglypuff. All right, let's see if there's some no Pokemon fans here. If we can filter you out here. Well, let's see there. There are some people that don't like Pokemon. Can you imagine it? What a world we live in. I'm sure you picked Germany, okay? And the food you ate was water, okay? So, no, dogs are great. And I am shocked how few people chose Jigglypuff, which is absolutely the best Pokemon, right? It's amazing. All right, so most people chose Pikachu. Very good. So those are the icebreakers today. I hope you feel a little bit more loose now. You know, there's a smile on your face, and you are ready for to be inspired today. So actually today we have prepared something very great for you. Well, not so much we, but a certain person. If we can perhaps have the slides up. So there we go. So we have the schedule for today. So we just did the welcoming and icebreakers. Now we will have our main talk with RAFAEL Guignard, and then we'll have question and answers where you can listen to the talk and you can ask questions directly, because sometimes so we don't catch everything. Sometimes we have questions, and that's very good. That means we care and we want to learn. And then we'll have conclusion for all the CARB members. So, and then we have a program for foundations participants. So then without further ado, I would like to welcome up our dear RAFAEL Guignard, who is He's from France. He's a youth leader and life coach. He's married for 17 years and has 3 children. So please give a warm applause for our speaker for today, Rafael.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Yeah, really grateful to be with you tonight. Thank you for inviting me. I'm excited really about tonight. I hope you are as well. The reason why I'm excited is because I'm going to share a topic that is very dear to me, and and I really want to share my heart about it, so I can really connect to your heart and to your really sharing how important it is for me and how it can be important for you to connect your goals to a higher vision, and what a difference it can make in finding fulfillment in your life, finding inspiration, and actually by contributing to higher purpose, actually living yourself a better life instead of feeling like it's taking away things from your life. So I'm just going to start sharing my screen. Here we go. Great. Can everybody see my screen here? Great. All right. All right. So connecting my goals to the higher vision. So first, I'd like to check how many of you would like to contribute to a higher purpose while experiencing growth and fulfillment in their own lives. So you can raise your hands. I put my screen in a way so I can see you. Also, those who didn't put their camera on, please, if you can, put it on. It's much better for interaction for me to see. I'm not going to force you, but I just want to encourage you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for responding. That's great. So you're at the right place, because this is what I want to talk about. But just before that, I just like to, share a picture of my family. Because I really feel it's important for me. Family really represents a way also to combine contributing to a higher purpose with our own goals, and how actually living a life of a fulfilled life as a family is very fulfilling for ourselves, but it's a great contribution to others as well, to our surroundings. But at the same time, also taking, especially when you become a parent, for those who are parents, I know already, for those who are not yet, you can try to imagine is that the more you have, when you have children, you actually start caring even more about what world you're living in, because you're like, wow, what place are my children growing up in? And you actually start caring even more, and you realize that actually living a life only centered on yourself might actually not even be very good for yourself at the end, if you don't care about, making a better world or a better society. I would like to share a little about my journey around this topic as well. So just going here, yeah. So many years ago, I was trying to pursue success in table tennis. I've been a table tennis player on high level for a certain while, also a coach. But at one moment, I realized that I really was lacking purpose. There was really a moment where even my coach could feel it, and he said, "Take a break." And during that break, I was reflecting and realized that I was not feeling my purpose. I always, for example, believed that God exists, but I couldn't feel actually his presence in my daily life. And I always believed that we could create a world out of peace where we can be happy. But there was not much I was doing in my daily life to actually contribute to this. And I always felt like, at one moment I encountered this quote saying, what does it profit a man to win the whole world if he loses his soul? And that's what I was really feeling at that moment, And so at that moment, I decided to stop playing table tennis and really go on a journey of purpose and growth. And I had the opportunity to do this by going through a gap year program called STF, helping with service projects, with Service for Peace at that time, being involved with COP as well. And wow, that was really transformative for me. And I kept going this way. But at one moment, I was studying, I had working, I was married, I had kids, I was trying still to be youth leader, and I felt completely overwhelmed. And when I felt overwhelmed, I was like, okay, what can I remove here? It's like, what can I remove here to stop feeling so overwhelmed? You know, I was like, okay, I need to finish my studies. Okay, I need to work to provide my family, and you know, I'm going to take care of my family. So what I did is that I gave up my responsibility as the youth leader in CARP in France. You know, hoping it will help me to feel more fulfilled, less overwhelmed, things like this. And at a certain point, it was quite relieving at that time. And maybe it was good for me to take a break. But after a few years, I actually felt again that I was lacking purpose. And actually, it made me suffer a lot from addictions. I went, even though it was something I was suffering before, I started suffering from addictions around porn and masturbation. I even started suffering from addictions of buying random stuff, or I made a collection of table tennis blades. I was trying all kind of table tennis blades, and I mean, you can do it a little bit, but it was crazy how much I was buying. It's really, really crazy. And the reason why I was doing this is because I was not feeling fulfilled, and I was trying to fill it with other things. Even now looking back, I realized that I was playing table tennis again, and of course I was enjoying it, but I was also addicted to performance. It took me a while to understand we could actually be addicted to performance, but you know, I realized that that's what happened to me. And the reason why I realized it because even when I was injured, I was keep training, keep doing competitions. Even though I was injured, I was damaging my body, and I was also not living a healthy life, a harmonious life with my family, spending so much time in the evenings and weekends on my job and as a player and as a coach. So, but after a while of doing this, I realized something was missing, and I went on a journey of looking on what is my purpose, you know, what is. And so when I was connected to my purpose again of wanting to contribute to a better world, want to experience more growth, you know, really trying to improve my life in all areas, that's where really things become very different again for me. And at the same time, while I was trying to contribute more, I was more motivated to also improve my life. And the more I was improving my life, the more I was able to contribute, you know. I remember for a while I was struggling, even when doing sports, I was struggling with healthy nutrition and weight, and I was struggling with stress and emotions and all kinds of things. And it's when I started to focus on a higher contribution I wanted to focus on, suddenly all these things were become much easier to improve on because I had a really strong motivation to do so. And then once I improved them, I felt so much more energy to actually be able to contribute more, because at some moments when you're a young father and you have financial responsibilities and many different things, it's not that easy to find extra time to help others. That's where at the time also I connect to different things again. I became a youth leader again in France, a pastor, and I decided to change my career as a table tennis coach to a life coach because I felt much more fulfilled doing so. I felt like I could contribute much better to a better world through that. I'm not like having a global impact, but I have an impact just around me, which, you know, if everybody does this, then, you know, we can make a way better world together. So I'd like to share with you a quote from Sung-Myung Moon, who's the founder of CARP, for those who don't know about him. And this really quote is really important, that really guided me a lot in my life, is that we have two purposes in our life. Yeah, one is the purpose of our own lives. The other is the purpose of our lives in relation to others, to our family, our nation, or the whole world. Especially in the world we're living in now, you know, like sometimes we say the world is a village. You can't even live anymore disconnected from what's happening, you know, everything that's happening around the world. I remember watching the news back in the days and just crying from seeing so much, you know, suffering in the world. And at one moment I stopped watching the news. Now with social media, internet, like you can't even like avoid seeing it anymore, you know, unless you really hide, I don't know, somewhere. So why I feel like it's so important to find your purpose is because every person is unique and has a unique purpose in this world. It's like, I like to see the world like a puzzle, and every single person is a piece of that puzzle. And if you imagine the world as each person a piece of that puzzle, that means that we need every person. Because sometimes we get to this place where like, oh, I'm not such an important person, or whether I do this or don't do that, it doesn't make so much difference. But imagine if you try to build a puzzle and one piece is missing. You wouldn't say, yeah, it's okay, there's just one piece missing, the puzzle is still nice. No, you would feel like, no, there's a piece missing. Where's that piece, you know? And so if you imagine of being a piece of that puzzle, we don't want to be missing. We want to be there. We want to be that one person living their purpose, making their contribution to that puzzle. And when I say purpose, it doesn't always have to be such a huge thing, you know, like I need to impact the whole world. You know, in life in coaching people, sometimes I coach people who want to change the world through animation. Some people want to change the world through their music. I have other people who, you know, are spiritual leaders. And I have some people, when I ask them, what's your purpose? They tell me, I just want to create a harmonious family. And that makes them feel alive. That makes them feel like, wow, you know. And usually when I coach couples, usually there's one who's like more focused on the higher purpose and more on the family purpose, and which is great, which creates balance and harmony actually. And that's why it shows both are so important, you know. So we need to find that harmony within ourselves, and then maybe also in a love relationship, in our families, and things like this. So here's a kind of a graph of it to show also, but because contribution is great, but without growth, you know, if you live a life where there's like low personal growth and low contribution, you're kind of more on survival. Like who has experience? I feel like I'm just surviving. I look at my week, my schedule is crazy. I struggle with my finances, and I'm just, you know, stuffing food in my mouth, whatever. And I'm like, just like, you know, I've experienced many moments like this. Like I'm just surviving, you know. If I focus a lot on my own growth and my own success and things like this, then it might be great, but I live a life neglecting others, living a life neglecting the rest of the world, you know. If I live a life of high contribution but low personal growth, then you will live a life neglecting yourself. And the problem is that usually it's very difficult to contribute in a sustainable way, if you don't also focus on your own growth, so you can actually contribute more. That's why we study so many years. If you go into the world is changing right now, but it used to be like, if you don't have many years of studies, you go into a company and you can't contribute. You cannot be at a high level position if you don't have the skills, if you didn't grow the skills to actually do that, you know. But if you really live a life where you focus on high contribution, high personal growth, then that's where you really can live a life of purpose, a life of really deep fulfillment. So another quote, and I really want to, maybe you've heard it already, maybe you've seen it 1,000 of times. I really want you to take your time to just take it in and see what comes up for you when you see that. Be the change you wish to see in the world. And really just ask yourself for a moment, what is the change I want to see in the world? If I look at the world as a puzzle, what I feel like is the missing piece that I care about the most, that really triggers me, that goes off like a red alarm, you know. We need to do something. Who needs to do something? You know, maybe, why not me? So a very inspiring author I really like is Simon Sinek. And he wrote a book called Start With Why. And it's very interesting, really, really great discovery for me, because I lived a life focusing a lot on my passions, which in a certain way was great. You know, living according to your passions is a great way to live. But it depends on what you mean by passion. on also what you're passionate about. You know, there's a person who did a TED talk, and he says, don't follow your passion. I'm like, whoa, what is he talking about? And then he explains is that if you say to people, follow your passion, and you tell this a teenager or young adult who is passionate about, you know, some, for example, they were doing a study on Canadians, and they were asking them about their passion, and most of them, the boys, were all ice hockey, you know. But the problem is that not all of them can live from ice hockey in their life, you know, and not going to make all their greatest contribution with ice hockey. And also, they might not be as interested in ice hockey when they will be 25 or 30 or 40 years old, you know. So what is more important is to follow your purpose and then connect to your passions. And also, a passion is not necessarily an activity. I thought for me is that table tennis was my passion, but it was not. I realized that my passion was the transformation that I was experiencing of becoming a better person through trying to become a better player. That was I really passionate about. And actually, I realized I can live that passion in different ways. It doesn't have to be through table tennis. Yeah, why is also, again, so important to find your purpose, you know? Because there are many different human motivations, but the motivation coming from purpose is the highest. You know, they interviewed people who did world records, not just, you know, they became a world champion once time or whatever. They did world records, and they asked them what was their drive that helped them to go to such a high level. And most of them answered is that they wanted to show humanity what they're capable of. It was not about them. It was not about them succeeding, being the best, making a record. Their motivation, it was showing humanity what they're capable of. And that's, you know, that's really high. Also, sometimes maybe who experience sometimes lack of motivation in pursuing their goals. Who has goals and they experience often lack of motivation. And what's important to know is that sometimes lack of motivation is not that you have a problem. Maybe the problem is that it might be an indicator that you're chasing the wrong dream. Or maybe that your goal is not attached to a high purpose that is really inspiring. So lack of motivation is not always a problem. Sometimes it's a great message. It's like lack of motivation is knocking at your door. Hi, I just want to indicate you that you're lacking motivation here. Maybe we need to do something about it. And something to do about it is not necessarily to push yourself more, but maybe to find out whether what you're pursuing is really an inspiring purpose. And what's interesting to see is that your why, your purpose, can sometimes be born from your greatest challenge or pain. What is interesting is when you study people who made a big impact in the world, often when you ask them why did they get this information, is they share about the most difficult time of their life that they were able to transform. So I would like to give you now some time to reflect, you know, and I encourage when reflecting also to write things down, because I feel like it crystallizes more your thought instead of just drifting. And also it will be a takeaway from this session for you to continue. And what you will write down today is not going to be like, you know, it's not like, I like the expression, it's not like the piano of purpose is going to fall in your head today, you know, and everything is going to be clear. It's a process, you know, and I just want to help you. Maybe already, many of you maybe already started this process of thinking about their purpose and already making progress, but so this might be just a way to go deeper or to start getting in the process. So one question you can ask yourself, what's the change you would like to see most in the world? Maybe there are many, you know, or what is the changes? If you don't want to choose right now and you have several that coming up, then just write them down, just brainstorm, you know. And a few of these questions are here are going to be very similar, so it doesn't matter. It's just to stir, you know, reflection and bring things up. So what are the causes that you care about the most? And even you can sometimes look at angry. What makes you angry? What are you angry about? What are the things that when you see them, it's like, oh, why is it this way? Why can't we change it? You know? And of course, staying in anger is not a very healthy thing because it really takes away energy and it's not very constructive in trying to find solutions. But it's a great indicator again of what you really care about. You can also reflect on what were the most inspiring moments in your life. Don't write the whole story right now. Just write one word or one sentence that's like, yeah, oh, this is, I remember this moment, you know. What were the most challenging moments in your life? The ones that really felt you felt like, oh, this is so difficult. And maybe connected it. What were the biggest moments of transformation in your life? And maybe you have moments where they're all three of them. They were the most challenging, the most transformative, and then at the end, the most inspiring. And then also you can add this, what are your passions, your gifts, your talents? So I'm just going to give you a few moments here to reflect about this. I think I'm just going to share my screen differently and put some music on. Wait, this would be better. Okay. Can you see my screen well still? Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, I just need to. So take time to reflect. All right. Hope you had a good reflection time. I'm gonna share my screen differently. So some questions I can ask you to write down now, and you know, we're not going to necessarily take the time now, but I invite you to write them down. That I connected is that once you've kind of identified your purpose, what you might feel is like, wow, this is scary, this is too much, you know, I'm not there yet, or things like this. And so what could be interesting is that you ask yourself empowering questions instead of disempowering questions. So you can ask yourself, what must I become to manifest this purpose? You know, where must I grow? You know, where do I need to grow? Where do I need to improve? What must I let go? You know, sometimes growing is not adding more. Maybe sometimes it's taking off things that are holding us back, blocking us, you know, limiting beliefs, emotions, stories we tell ourselves, the wrong environment we're in, wrong old habits, thoughts and beliefs and everything. So, and you know, what you can do is, like here I wrote down some life categories that you can think of. Well, okay, which are these categories of life where I need to grow most? Is it my health and fitness? Am I lacking the energy to actually fulfill more my purpose? Do I need to improve my intellect? Do I need to gain more knowledge? Do I need to be more focused? Is it my emotional life? Am I too much up and down in my emotional life? Do I need to find more stability, more emotional energy? Is it my character traits, my habits? Is it my spiritual life, my connection to God, my personal growth? Is it a relationship with my family, with my parents, with my siblings, my extended family? Is it, if you're as a couple, is it my love relationship? You know, recently I really had this strong experience where I felt like I want to contribute at a high level, and I realized if I want to contribute at a high level, I need to bring every single of my life to a high level, including my love relationship with my wife as well, because so we can, you know, because when you contribute at a high level, there are also more challenges, you know, so you'll be ready to face them, especially together. Your parenting, if you have children, your social life, your extended family, people who you hang out with, your finances, your career, your quality of life as well. Where do you live? What's your environment and things like this? And what is important to know, it could feel a bit overwhelming to improve all these things, but what is really important to know is that this is much, much, much easier when you really align yourself with your purpose, your passion and skills. Yeah, because when you align with that, things seems much easier, more harmonious, more in flow. It feels like that nothing can stop us. Who experienced moments of flow in his life where he felt like anything, he can do anything? Just moments. It might, you know, maybe one day, 1 week, maybe just 5 minutes. Who has experienced that? You know, where they felt like, oh, I'm mastering this. I'm in the zone. You know, I'm on my A game here. And it might be only in one area at one moment, but that's okay. Just having that feeling, imagine having that feeling more and more in most areas of your life. You know, having this confidence. But what's important is that, of course, you don't gain this from one to the other. What's important is habits and deliberate practice, learning. You know, how do you become great in sports, art, science, business? Everything is actually very similar of how a baby learns to walk. You just try, you practice. But no baby tries walking and is failing and say, okay, I'm done. I don't think I will ever walk in my life. I'm going to be a toddler for the rest of my life because I've tried 10 times and it didn't work, you know. And on average, it says that a baby tries 2,000 times. And recently I had an amazing experience with my son, who is 6 years old. He asked me, Daddy, can you show me how to shoot like a pro in basketball? So I showed him, and amazingly, he shot very well, close to the basket, and very low basket, of course, 6-year-old one. But then he moved further and further away until the moment it was really hard to have the power and the precision to score. So he was missing and missing and missing and missing. And after a while, I was like, oh, don't you want to come closer again and score? He's like, no. I want to score from here, you know? And you know what? He tried, I don't know exactly, I didn't count, but I would say around between 50 and 100 times, missing every single time until he scored. He believed more than me. I was like, and most of the shots were like going all over the place, you know, and he still continued. And so sometimes we just need to learn to have this mindset of a baby or a child when we want to reach high levels, instead of getting discouraged every time we fail once or twice, you know. So yeah, it's practice that makes perfect, you know. It's by challenging yourself, by being willing to fail, you know, by willing to be comfortable. It's putting in the deep work. It's putting in focus and signal tasking. We get so much into multitasking now. If my son would have tried to shoot this basketball while watching his smartphone or whatever, I mean, it wouldn't have worked, you know. And yeah, just to conclude, what is very important for you to continue on your journey of purpose and growth is that what you need is really a curriculum, a system. You need to educate yourself. If it's reading books, following courses, things like this, you need to be surrounded by a community that really supports you, you know, to sustain that growth. And also what's important is to have a mentor, having somebody that helps you, who has a few steps ahead of you, with maybe just one step, you know, and that can really help you there. So yeah, I think that's all I wanted to share today. And yeah, actually I can, yeah, I just want to share my contact info. If you would like to reach out to me, we have questions answers now, but if somehow you didn't finally ask your questions or things like this, I couldn't answer your questions today, feel free to reach out to me, and I'd be happy to answer questions on, you know, the topic of today of finding your purpose, aligning your goals with it, aligning your growth with it, as I talked about today.
All right, can we give a warm applause for our dear Rafael? Thank you so much. And I think there was a lot there packed in a very, very short time. So I'm sure some of you are very curious to ask some questions. So we have questions and comments, and some of you have asked questions to there, and I will read the questions to Rafael. So the first question is, I have too many hobbies, which I really enjoy and love. I don't know if I should give one up and be sad, or continue with too many and a lot of stress.
Yeah, it's a great question. I have asked this myself many times, this question. I'm also really passionate about many things, or very curious about many things. And so, you know, there's several answers to this question. One is that sometimes your purpose is a combination of all your interests. So maybe it's a good question to ask yourself, so how could I combine all these things that I love and enjoy? What makes me more unique than other people, because I have a combination of all these passions and skills, you know? So that's one way to put it. It's like, okay, maybe actually having all these things is great. It's not a problem. But if I combine them, so combining makes me even stronger and less stress, you know, if I combine them. But if I keep pursuing them all at the same time, yeah. Also, there's another way is I choose one that's most important one that I dedicate most of my time, and I keep doing the other things, but they're not going to be my number one purpose, you know. But I'm not going to give up on them. I just want to, they fill me with joy, and they fill me with energy, and it makes my life more beautiful. It gives me energy it fuels me to even give more to the contribution I want to make. So that's another way. And a way then to actually decide maybe what is the most important that you want to focus on. So either you choose just one, and you let go of the others you want, or you choose one and others, is what is a topic I'd be ready to study and practice to become the best at for the next 10, 20, or 30 years? Ask yourself that question, and you will quickly realize which among the hobbies or passions or skills you have is really the one that you will be able to make the biggest difference and also find the most fulfillment.
Thank you. Let's go right next to the next question. So the next question is, how to find motivation to pursue our goals?
Yeah, great question. So partially it was kind of answered in the presentation. It's about finding a cause, a purpose that's so inspiring that you don't need to find a motivation. It's filling you with motivation. It's almost like a necessity to achieve those goals because you really care about them. Or if your goal is not directly connected to your purpose, then make a list of what's the connection. Why is this goal going to help you achieve a higher purpose that is really important for you, that's really inspiring for you? So creating that connections. Finding one way is also to always ask yourself, why is that goal important for me? And sometimes not asking yourself why once, but asking yourself several times. Make a list. Make a list of 25 reasons why this is so important for you. And maybe some of the reasons will not be that important, but some of them will be very important. And they will move you. Maybe even write 50. I did it a few times when I felt lack of motivation. I felt like, or not lack of motivation, but I needed stronger motivation. I wrote down, so you can write a big list, or you can go what we call 7 levels deep. You ask yourself why, and you say, for example, my goal is to finish my studies, and then, okay, why do I want to finish my studies? It's because I want to be good at this skill. Okay, why do I be good at the skill? It's because I want to contribute to this cause. Why do I want to contribute to this cause? It's because I really care about this people that are connected to it. And then you go 7 levels deep, going deeper and deeper, and then you connect to something so deep that motivation is like a no-brainer. But of course, motivation needs to be sustained. It's not like one day I'm motivated. And you can also create routines where you connect to your motivation on a daily basis. A bit like, oh, I ate yesterday. Today I didn't eat. I feel lack of energy. Yeah, same. Eat motivation every day. Otherwise it's it's like not eating every day.
Great. We're getting many questions here, so I'll just jump to the next one.
Okay.
The next one, are there any books you recommend on those topics?
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, I mean, first of all, I recommend Start with Why from Simon Sinek, and also Finding Your Why. I had a list of books, just a second. So that's one. Yeah, maybe we can jump to the next question. I have a list somewhere. I will find it in the meantime.
All right, next question is, I am struggling to find an everyday routine to do in my life. For example, exercise or meditate. How can I motivate myself to do the things I determine myself to do?
Great. Yeah, great question. Yeah, it's not easy. It often happens that we struggle with putting in a routine. So again, here, asking yourself why. Why is it important to do this actually? Yeah. So, and finding a reason why you want to do it. Not just I do it because somebody told me to do it. Or I read a book, I watched a video and they told you it's a good habit, a good routine. No. Why do you want to do it? Also, you can write down the list of all the great results, outcomes will come once you will be doing it. Make a list. Or if you work other way around, make a list of all the negative consequences of not doing it. What would happen if you still not do it 1 month from now, 1 year from now, 5 years from now? How would your life look like not doing it? How would you feel? And so this can trigger motivation. The other thing is, again, like this baby mindset. It's okay if you fail once. Just start tomorrow again. Sometimes it's a bit like if you fall off a train, and imagine you fall off a train that's not that fast. I was just watching Back to the Future 3 yesterday. They take the train to travel, for those who know the movie. So imagine that the train is not going that fast. You fall off the train. What is better, to just get up again and try to jump in the train again, or spend your time complaining and feeling guilty why you fall off the train and, oh no, I fell off the train and why did I do that? Not just get back on the train. Or calm down and wait for the next train and just jump into the next train or walk to the next train station, but don't like just put yourself down for missing one day, or you only manage 7 days, you want to do 30 days. You manage 7 days, next time you manage maybe 10, 15. I don't know. I failed so many times in putting in routines. Many times I failed, but because I tried again and again, I was able to create great routines that really worked for me.
Very good. We'll jump right next to the next. We have so many questions, so I'm not going to comment anything. I usually try to interact a little bit, but we have a lot. We have not too much time left. So
okay, I need to give short answers then.
Yeah. What should I do when I have the motivation to grow, but struggle to find the highest purpose, or know the highest purpose, but don't know the steps to fulfill that purpose?
Okay, so these are several questions in one. So finding the highest purpose, keep doing the exercises I gave you today already, and keep searching. It's not by doing the exercise once that I feel quite clear about my purpose, but I think about it over and over again and fine tune it, make it deeper, make it stronger, make it clear. So keep working on it. Don't wait for suddenly having just that revelation. You might have a moment of like that, eureka, whatever, aha moment. Yeah, keep searching if you feel like you haven't found it. Yeah. And then the steps. Well, steps, that's where it's good to find a mentor, somebody who has done it already, who can, help you find faster the steps to do this. Or you can reflect yourself to find the steps, or you can also trust that you will be guided. Sometimes you just need to know where you want to go and what is the next step. Sometimes we try to figure out the 1,000 next steps to get to that big purpose. No, just clear on the purpose, clear on the next step. And usually when you take one step, the next steps become clearer and clearer, much easier. And we try to figure it all out in advance, because sometimes you take the first step and you realize it was the wrong one. It's okay, just take another one. So the other steps, you try to figure out the other steps in advance, and that was useless because actually the first step was wrong anyway. So don't try to figure out all the steps in advance too much.
Thank you. And so we have our last question here. What happens if I feel that I have no motivation at all about anything? How do I fix that?
I have no motivation. First of all, if you really feel this, first of all, I really want to acknowledge you. It might not be easy to feel that, to experience that. But if I would have a conversation with you right now, and we would really look into your life, you would see there is motivation in your life. Otherwise, you wouldn't even be here tonight. It's impossible to be here tonight in this session and having no motivation whatsoever and nothing. You would be in your bed sleeping. You wouldn't be motivated to eat. There are people, there are most likely less motivated than you are. There are people who really just stay in bed 24 hours a day and things like this. So most likely, if you're here, you're not in that place. And so what I invite you to see is like, okay, it's not a cup, but okay, this is better. So the problem is that sometimes with happiness, motivation, inspiration, clarity, everything is that we always look at what's missing and we never look at what's there. So if you feel like I have no motivation, most likely it's because you're looking what is missing of motivation. And maybe your motivation is only this much, yeah? But look at what you have here. Don't look at everything that's missing. That will dismotivate you. Definitely demotivate you to look at this, what is missing. Look at what are there. And same for gratitude, same for inspiration, same with clarity. Some people are depressed because they're asking themselves, they don't even know, but they ask themselves the question, am I 100% happy? Can you imagine yourself asking yourself this question every day? Am I 100% happy? Most likely the answer is going to be, no, I'm not 100% happy. But it's totally unconscious. And then you're unhappy because like, I'm not 100% happy. It's not full, So the same for motivation. I would recommend to look at what's already there and start celebrating that. And the more you celebrate what you already have, the more this will expand instead of looking at what is lacking.
All right. Thank you so much, Rafael. Can we give another round of applause to our speaker tonight? I think we've never had so many, I'd say, difficult and intense questions, but you danced through those questions elegantly. So we're really grateful for you joining us tonight. And so now we will have a conclusion and announcements. So if we can share the screen. So if you liked it today, I know Rafael was amazing. We cannot promise it's going to be this good every time, but we guarantee you it's going to be good. And so next session is understanding and bridging the divides in our current society. So it's November the 15th at 8 o'clock. So, all right, thank you so much. So we'd ask all the foundation participants to stay, and everyone else, I wish you a lovely evening. So thank you, everyone. Have a lovely evening. Bye. Hope to see you again.
Bye-bye.
Come to Sweden. All right. Do we have the foundations participant left? I think so. So we will now have a short break, so you can reflect a little bit, and we'll see you in 5 minutes.